Philadelphia judge and a group of attorneys have structured a $675 million settlement offer to ex-NFL players who were injured in the league. To settle or not to settle? That is the question. Gina Passarella with the Legal Intelligencer reports.
After years of controversy, the NFL Concussion Settlement is nearly a done deal. Nearly. For a league dogged by the specter of players committing suicide, who shot themselves in the heart so their brains could be preserved for examination. To the Frontline documentary League of Denial, excoriating professional football for its secrecy about concussions. The NFL and many of its former players are hoping the worst is behind them. And all eyes are on Philadelphia. Federal Judge Anita Brody of the Eastern District of Pennsylvania has been hammering away at lawyers, both the leagues and those representing former NFL players, to come to an agreement.
She's a judge who clearly doesn't have a problem with, sending the parties back to the drawing board.
But at an upcoming fairness hearing, Brody must entertain arguments from two rival plaintiffs groups, both representing former NFL players. And it's likely to get sticky.
This case has been marked by, I think it's fair to say, a great deal of tension between the plaintiffs' lawyers.
One group, represented by co-lead counsel for the plaintiffs, Chris Seeger and Saul Weiss, say the settlement is good to go. The other faction, known as the Sean Morey Group, named for the former Eagle player, believes the settlement favors owners and lawyers, not players.
The NFL's getting off easy. They want to settle. The class action lawyers are waiting on a $112.5 million paycheck. They can't wait to settle, And
aside from the money, the issue is what injuries are covered by the settlement. Former players with Lou Gehrig's disease, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and dementia are taken care of. Those living with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a debilitating brain disease, are not.
They're making themselves heroes because, we're taking care of, these poor guys with ALS and Parkinson's. Like, yeah, of course you should be taking them. It's obviously those guys should be taken care of. Yet you're not taking care of most of us. There's a lot of negative effects on your quality of life as a result of CTE.
CTE is caused by head trauma that at present can only be fully diagnosed after death. But doctors increasingly cite it as a primary contributing cause of behavioral conditions, mood disorders, and perhaps even violence in former NFL players. Under the settlement, living players with CTE stand to get little or nothing, which may explain why 200 former players or their survivors, including 6 Hall of Famers, have decided not to settle, opting out of the class and retaining their right to sue the NFL on their own. For the rest of the players, all eyes and ears will be on Judge Brody's decision. Their health may depend on it.
So I have trouble motivating, focusing, concentrating, and it's debilitating depression to the point where I can't leave the house sometimes for days on end. The more and more guys I talk to, I realize have very similar symptoms, very similar.
The NFL Concussion Litigation Settlement covers potentially 20,000 current and former NFL players, includes hundreds of millions of dollars for class members, as well as the attorneys involved. Yet there are some class members, even those who haven't opted out or filed objections, who don't really feel like this settlement is going to cover their medical needs in the future. But they don't want to take on the NFL by themselves. So while this chapter may be coming to a close for the NFL and the players who feel like they're getting a fair shake from the settlement, it's an issue that many players are going to have to deal with for years to come. From the American Law Journal, I'm Gina Passarella.